Imagine being thrust into the enormous responsibility of leading an entire nation into a new land, a land promised by God but filled with unknown dangers. This was Joshua's daunting call. As Moses' successor, Joshua's journey was not just about conquering land, but about embracing faith, courage, and the fulfillment of God's timeless promises. His story challenges us to be strong, brave, and obedient even when the future seems uncertain. Joshua is a pivotal figure in the Bible, a man chosen by God to lead the Israelites into the promised land after the death of Moses. Brave, loyal, and faithful, Joshua was more than just a military commander. He was a spiritual leader charged with the sacred task of guiding God's people into their new inheritance. As Moses' trusted assistant and successor, Joshua inherited not only the leadership mantle but also the enormous responsibility of rallying a nation ready to claim what God had promised. God's command to Joshua was clear: be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. For 40 long years, the people of Israel wandered through the wilderness. Generations passed, stories of miracles and failures etched into their collective memory. Moses, the great leader who guided them out of Egypt, grew old. But God had already prepared a new leader, one who would bring the promise of a new beginning, Joshua. Joshua was not just any man, he was a trusted aide to Moses, a warrior, and a man of deep faith. We know little of his early years, but we do know his character, brave and obedient. When Moses ascended Mount Nebo and looked upon the land God had promised, it marked the end of an era. God would not allow Moses to enter the promised land, but he promised a new beginning through Joshua. In chapter 1 of the book of Joshua, God's voice calls out not just to an individual but to every one of us who face uncertainty or challenge. Be strong and courageous, God says. These words are repeated 3 times, a divine emphasis on trust and strength. Joshua is reminded to obey the laws given to Moses, to meditate on them day and night, so his path would be clear and his leadership successful. Leadership is never easy, especially when inheriting the hopes and fears of an entire nation. Joshua's task seemed daunting. He faced giants, not just literal ones in the promised land, but giants of fear, doubt, and opposition. The stakes were high. But God's promise was sure: I will be with you, I will never leave you nor forsake you. The story also reveals the importance of preparation. Joshua rallies the Israelites, reminding them of God's faithfulness and calling them to commit wholeheartedly. The people respond with courage, affirming their loyalty and trust. Like Joshua, each of us faces moments of uncertainty and transitions. Whether stepping into a new role, overcoming personal struggles, or embracing change, we are called to be strong and courageous. How can we apply Joshua's example today? By standing firm in faith, trusting God's word, and embracing our divine calling with boldness.